Hello, my name is Milagros and I worked at the Department of Applied Linguistics at the Universidad Politécnica de Valencia. Today we're going to have a look at two verb tenses, present simple and present continuous. The aims of this presentation, as you can see on the screen, are the following. First, to explain and contrast two verb tenses. This means that we are going to have a look at when and how we use them. Then we are going to focus on state and stative verbs. And finally, we are going to put into practice the theory I have explained. Right, let's start with present simple. We normally use present simple when we talk about habitual actions. This means actions that happen regularly. For example, I normally go swimming 4 days a week, or some people never relax. Notice that we tend to use adverbs of frequency with present simple, such as normally and never here. Present simple is also used to talk about permanent situations. For example, I work in Valencia. Right. A different use is to describe the plot of books and films. For example, the story begins in Madrid and the year is 1998, or the film has 3 main characters and it tells the story of etc. Another use is when we talk about scientific facts or the so-called general truths. For example, water boils at 100 centigrade Celsius, or the moon goes round the earth. Right, now let's move on to the present continuous. We normally use the present continuous to describe an action that takes place at the present moment. For example, as I am talking to you, someone is recording what I am saying at this very moment. Well, we also use this tense to indicate that an action is temporary. This means that the action is not happening at the moment of speaking, but is happening at a time that is near to the moment of speaking. For example, these days. We can also use other expressions such as this month, this term, this week and these days. For example, I'm doing an English course this month. Right. With this tense, we also describe an action around the time of speaking. So imagine that someone calls you and you say, I'm shopping around, where are you? And finally, we use the present continuous to express a criticism or complaint. And normally we employ the adverbs always or continually to indicate that this is a complaint or that this is a criticism. Let's have a look at the example. They are always forgetting my name. Right, now let's have a look at the state or stative verbs. Well, the stative verbs are a group of verbs that describe states or situations which are normally permanent versus actions. These verbs are nearly always used in the simple rather than in the continuous form. They belong to or they refer to feelings, thoughts, belonging and senses, and it's important to remember that some of these verbs can have both a state and an active meaning. Right, these are the groups where, into which you can classify these state or stative verbs. Now I'm going to give you an example for each of the groups. Verbs that refer to thoughts are, for example, I think, I believe you're wrong. Those verbs which refer to feelings are verbs such as like, they like me because of the way I treat them. With regard to belonging, we have I have or I own 2 houses and an apartment, or this bag belongs to me. Okay, verbs that refer to senses are I can't hear some noises outside, or this bread tastes funny. And finally, in the category of measurements, we have this weighs a ton, or how much does this cost? Right. Now, sometimes we have verbs which can have a state and an action meaning. This is the case of the verbs that you have on the screen, feel and think. So these 2 verbs in the examples here are being used as actioned verbs. For example, I'm feeling terribly tired, or don't talk to him now, he's thinking hard. So these two verbs involve an action. The same happens to the verb have when the meaning is not possess. So if you have a look at the screen, we have the example, I'm having a hard time with a new colleague at work. So have here is not used with the meaning of possession. Likewise, we have the verbs smell and taste that can be used to express with an action meaning. For example, I'm smelling the milk to see if it has gone off. Or I am tasting the soup because I think it's too salty. Right, and finally we have the verb see, which is used as an action verb with the meaning of meet. For example, are you seeing someone at the moment? Right, now I want you to have a look at the following exercise and decide if you have to use the present simple or the past continuous for the verbs in brackets. Take your time, have a look at this screen and the next one, and when you are ready, go back for the answers. Right, and here you've got the answers for this exercise. Okay, and now I want you to try the following exercise where you have to decide if the verbs are used as state verbs or action verbs. So read through the context, through the whole exercise carefully, and good luck. Right, and here comes the key with the solutions for this exercise. And this is all for today. Thank you very much for your attention.